Hello and welcome. My name is Arity and this is Wise Woman Television. Today I have a pick a card reading for you on what are they thinking and feeling this holiday season. Please know this reading is timeless, so whenever it finds its way to you is right on time for you. Of course, this is going to be for soulmates in separation, people in disconnection, people who have been ghosted, people who are single and considering past relationships or past lovers and connections. So however it applies to you, obviously you came here for a reason. You want to know how your person is thinking and feeling. So that's what we will be covering today, and that's exactly what you will receive, regardless of when it is. But this is being filmed during the holiday season of 2020. So let's talk about how your person feels about you and what they're thinking right now. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is welcome you to this family. Thank you so much for being here. If this reading lands for you and speaks to you, I encourage you to like, share, subscribe. You're also welcome to contribute to this channel, and I do offer both personal readings as well as coaching sessions to support you to bring these readings to life or to support you more generally in your life, in your work, and on your spiritual path. So thank you for being here. I'll go ahead and put up a picture of the 3 card pile choices now. All right, so let's begin with card pile 1. Okay, what are they thinking and feeling this holiday season? So I am sensing a longing for you. They are thinking of you. They are yearning for you. It's more of a longing, a missing. They're nostalgic. They're feeling that sense of romance. They're wondering how you are, what you're doing. I don't know if they'll be looking at pick a card readings, but they are having similar longings and yearnings as you are. It feels more like a longing. It doesn't yet feel like this person's going to reconnect with you or reach out. We'll see how it goes when we move through the rest of the reading, if we pick up on any of that energy. But this person feels like they're very much distant and assuming that this may very well be the end, and or they haven't even considered that notion, but they know that you're disconnected right now, and they are thinking of similar things, perhaps memories or things of what could be. They're unable to let you go. They're unable to let you go. Now, I will say for some of you, and I feel like this is only for, like, again, only for some of you, so only if it resonates, that they've attempted to move on, but they've been unable to because they're still thinking about you and they're still longing for you. And so in some of your cases, your significant other, whoever that person is, your person of interest, who you're thinking of here today, they are spending the holiday season, or at least currently, with someone else, and yet they haven't forgotten about you. You still have their heart. You're still taking up real estate in their mind space. They can't help but think about you. So whether or not there is a third party involved, like I said, that's not a huge, very clear energy for a large amount of you, but it does feel relevant for some of you. The point here is they haven't let you go. They haven't let you go. They are longing for you the same way you long for them, but it doesn't yet appear that they have any intentions to reconnect. So let's move on and see how things are going. So they're trying to understand the situation from a different point of view or different perspective. They are trying to sort of do that inner discovery work and see, just make sense of it. They want to understand it. They want to be able to walk away with a little bit more clarity, a little bit more closure. They very much feel like this is a locked door, like something that they can't re-enter, something that they can't return to. They're unable to reconnect, and that it's just not a possibility. Now, the interesting part here, though, and actually let me show you some of these cards. So these first 2 cards, sometimes I do and then sometimes I forget because I get in the middle of really getting into the messages, but this is that longing, right? Looking back on that romance, looking back on the memories, the what could be, the what ifs, okay? This is them clinging to the past. They're unable to let you go. Now, this for some of you means that they have tried to move on. They might be sharing the holidays with someone else, but their heart is with you, okay? Now, moving on here to where we were, they are trying to find an understanding of the situation. They really want to gain some kind of clarity, some kind of closure. They feel like there is a lesson to be learned or wisdom to be gained here, but they haven't yet found it, okay? They're really struggling to find the meaning in all of it. They're struggling to find the healing in all of it. They're just not there yet. And here's where they feel like they might even be able to come back to you, right? Like there's that desire, and you can see that because you see this child on one side of the gate. On the other gate is all of that color. So they're yearning for what once was or what could be, but it's more of like a daydream or a fantasy right now. Again, that longing, remember I was saying that I'm not feeling like they're wanting to move toward you just yet. If that's something that you are seeking or are curious about, it's just simply not there. They're thinking like it's off limits. Or for some of them, it feels like they're thinking like it's just not the right time right now, and they're trying to make the smartest move, and they're trying to be wise about this and really honor divine timing and let things fall into place, because there were some things for many of you that needed to be arranged and rearranged and readjusted. Things just weren't quite right. Conditions weren't right. Circumstances weren't falling into place. It feels like there was some conflict or disagreement. The very least disagreement, and maybe just trying to fit, the square peg in the hole, where things just weren't working out. There was love there. There was beauty there. There was chemistry. There was connection. Obviously, see how that resonates for you. And yet, for whatever reason, things weren't well-oiled enough for things to land, for things to really fall into place. And they know that. So they're making the smarter decision for themselves to stay out, even though if you take a look here in that gate or wherever that is, right, this gate is unlocked. That child can walk through, but they're leaving themselves out. They're keeping themselves outside of the gate. But again, it feels like it's coming from a place of wisdom where they feel like you would circle back around to the same outcome, okay? You would run into those same old conflicts, same old disagreements, same old misunderstandings, same old gaps or of disconnect where you're unable to move through those obstacles. They're feeling like it would be the same outcome, so what's the point, all right? So they are making a wise decision to keep that distance, but they are longing for you. And actually, for those of you who have moved on, who are in a little bit of a third party, now it's clearly not a third party because you are in separation or in disconnect, so they have had the freedom to simply move on. With that said, you might consider it a third party because you're still connected at the heart. And honestly, they are too. They know this isn't their person, okay? They're doing it to sort of soothe the wound and to make themselves feel better right now and to sort of fill the void, but they know it's not the one true person. So for those of you who have moved on, they know that this person that they are carrying on their arm is just for a right now. They're not Mr. and Mrs. Right, they are right for right now. Now, I will say that it looks like there is an ideal outcome that comes out. We'll see through the other layers of the reading here what that means for you or you both uniquely, but it feels like there is some kind of ideal outcome that results. And I think what this actually relates to, this achievement card, is that this person comes to the clarity and the understanding that they require, right? So this reading is all about what they are thinking or feeling. It's not necessarily asking about you, the watcher, the viewer. So they come to a sense of clarity or even closure. They do get what they need in terms of when they're doing this self-discovery and they are looking back and they are wondering. I do feel like for some of you, they do return. They get that clarity and they're able to return to you. But for many of you, it feels like they get that clarity and they may not ever return. Now, I know this is hard to hear, so let that land for you however you want it to land for you, right? Not every detail is going to be right for you. And if it is and you still don't want to hear it, remember, you have a whole life ahead of you. And I know it doesn't feel good to hear that the person that you long for may not return. So again, take it all with a grain of salt. Let it land for you if it resonates. If it doesn't, you can shelve it. If you need the support to work through those feelings, comment below. Let's chat it out. Let's process it. Some of you, they end up moving on one way or the other. So for some of you, I'm feeling like they move on to a different career. They go off to school. They leave altogether the area. They find some kind of clarity that they needed that kind of spurs them on their own evolution. Now, some of them end up remaining with this other person that they're with for a time, but that does not end up being a lifelong partner. It's just someone who is essentially acting as a placeholder. Now, I will say for some of you, it feels like they do return, but it feels like it's after a good long while and maybe it's too little too late for you. So that's what it's feeling like right now. Of course, however it lands, but here's the thing. This card, what this is telling me is by the time this person returns, or even if they move on, that you have moved on for yourself, right? There's peace and harmony in the situation. There's peace and harmony in the connection, that both sides of this, both parts of the equation have found their inner resolve. They found their peace. They found their clarity. They're not feeling like they long for the other or that they're missing out, there's a missing piece. Something comes to completion for the both of you that feels right. Now, I will say for some of you, it's a matter of divine timing, right? We're seeing the shooting star. For some of you, okay, I could say maybe 30% of you, they might return, and then the conditions are right, the circumstances are right, and then you are able to move forward together. But again, this is a smaller minority of you, but that shooting star could indicate the whole star-crossed lovers, where there's a couple things that can happen in that regard. The conditions are ripe, circumstances are favorable, you're able to return to each other. But I am feeling for a good majority of you, by the time they return, you have moved on, you have found your peace, and you might have even moved on yourself. So the song that's coming up for me is Auld Lang Syne by Dan Fogelberg. If you want to take a look at those lyrics, I highly encourage you to do so. It's especially relevant to the holiday season. I would definitely take a look at those lyrics and see how they resonate for you, but it feels like a situation like that for many of you. Go take a look. And I'm having chills right now, so this is relevant for many of you, or will be relevant. And even in 1 or 2 years, when this reunion happens, I have some emotion. When this reunion happens, you'll both have moved on, but there will always be love there in that connection. Feeling the love that you have, the love that you're sharing, guys. Okay. So yeah, there's some healing going on. We already talked about that. We've been talking about that healing. There's a healing that happens as a result of this connection, or even the lost connection. There are some things that were falling into place that required this connection to come into both of your lives to bring about some things in the deeper parts of you that otherwise may not have been revealed or looked at. So for some of you, this is inner child healing, and you're looking at the wounding and the baggage that you've carried with you over the course of your life. And then this connection brought it all up for you both to look at, and now you're sort of sifting through the pieces, and I'm seeing like a filter where the sand's falling through, and like there are bigger pieces that are up on the filter that weren't able to fall through. So then you're taking a look at those bigger pieces that are in that filter, and you're like, okay, so this is, this is some stuff I'm carrying with me, and this is some stuff I'm carrying with me, and this is some stuff I'm carrying with me. And both of you have been able to sort of sift through that and see those parts of you that are still sort of hanging on and lingering from the past that really aren't relevant for you, whether it's old wounds and pains from previous connections and relationships, and or inner child types of things that happened to you as a child that both of you have carried into your adult and mature relationships. Now you're able to see very clearly what needs to be shifted and transformed for you to encounter a love that is compatible in all areas and have conditions that are ripe and favorable for the romance that you're seeking, okay? They weren't favorable because these pieces were still there, and both of you had to look at those things in order to be able to move on and to be able to hold space for a mature, conscious, loving, and fulfilling relationship. You just both weren't there, and that's why this reunion happens later, where you found that harmony and you found that maturity and you found that healing within yourself, but you've already moved on, okay? The relationship served its purpose, and it doesn't necessarily require that you stay together, okay? So I want to get a clarifier card because I am curious here as to, and it might come through anyway. You guys know I very rarely pull clarifier cards in the reading if you follow my channel, but I do want to pull a clarifier card for you, so just give me a moment. Obviously, you can fast forward if you need to. Yeah, so I think there is, both of you have been trying to control this connection and make it work and make it happen, and I think that was what was happening when you were actively together. You were sort of forcing a connection, and it just wasn't the right time. Okay, so let's take a look. And again, we know why it was the right time, why it wasn't the right time. The conditions weren't favorable because you still had some work to do, both of you, to experience that fulfilling, conscious relationship that you are seeking, because both of you want that. Both of you are even capable of creating that, but you still had some work to do and some things to iron out and some things to tweak, such that, again, those disagreements and misunderstandings kept on happening. You kept kind of hitting up against that and hitting up against that and hitting up against that. And that's because it needed to be transformed and able to create space for a more beautiful and mature relationship. And it just simply wasn't possible together. There was just too much to have to work through. And so it's saying that the Wheel of Fortune here just wasn't the right time, but that Wheel of Fortune, again, like we said earlier, it's going to its turn, and there will be a time that both of you find that love, but it might not be each other, okay? Like I said, for some of you, a very small minority of you, it's going to, you guys are going to be the star-crossed lovers. But the thing about the star-crossed lovers is, and if you know about the stories of Romeo and Juliet or other star-crossed lovers romances, is that more often than not, no matter how often they get together, just like Romeo and Juliet, the circumstances are never right, okay? I'm not saying that's the case for all of you. Again, I don't want to hurt anyone or trigger anyone. Again, process it out in the comments. Let's talk. But it's many times for star-crossed lovers, no matter when they connect, they're meant to simply shift each other and support each other for a time and meant to part, okay? So as much as you might try to control the connection and stay together, the conditions simply were not favorable and still remain to be unfavorable for a time. Feels like about 2 years, where for some of you, and I encourage you to come back. If this happens for you in 2 years and YouTube is still around, I imagine it will be. I encourage you to come back and share your story with me, because I feel some of you will have that reunion. Again, check out Auld Lang Syne by Dan Fogelberg. Check out those lyrics. Okay, right. So everything, like all is well that ends well. It's saying this card is reminding us that everything is right on par. Everything is right on path. Everything is unfolding as it should. That abundance and ripened fruit does come. The harvest comes for you. The things that you seek, right? The fruit and the bounty and the harvest and this tree that's beautiful, it all comes. And yet you're working currently on these roots here to really create a strong foundation within yourself, clearing out some of this old baggage and the old wounding that we talked about, really creating a fertile ground for a beautiful partnership and relationship. That fruit comes, the ripe fruit comes, everything is on path, everything is right on time, everything is happening as it should to support you into your higher self and what it is that you truly want for yourself, what it is that's truly meant for you, that greater destiny, right? That greater fate or vision or dream that you have for yourself. All of that is realized, but it may not be with that person. Okay, so there is a suggestion here to find a way to find peace within yourself right now. If there is a longing, allow yourself to long. If there is grieving, allow yourself to grieve. We can acknowledge those feelings. We can feel those feelings. It's okay to love, and it's okay to love big. And sometimes we lose, and sometimes we miss people. And that's really the journey of life, right? We know that, card pile 1. So this holiday season, card pile 1, you and your star-crossed lover are thinking about each other and yearning for each other from a distance, but it looks like this holiday season they do not return to you. For some of you, we saw earlier, a very small minority of you, they will, but for most of them, they're going to make that wise choice to stay out on the outside until things fall into place. And when they do in the next couple of years, many of you will have a reunion, or at least some of you. It feels like some of you will have that reunion, and you might be able to sort of what's the word, when you're reminiscing about the past, but you'll have moved on. You'll have found greater harmony within yourselves and might even have another partner at that time. So thank you, card pile 1. I'm sending you so much love. Please process any feelings or reflections or insights in the comments. Do like, subscribe, and share if this lands for you. I do want to let you know I do offer both personal readings as well as coaching sessions to support you, to bring this reading to life, or to support you with this reading, or more generally in your life, in your work, and on your spiritual path. There are also ways to contribute to this channel. I so appreciate you checking out those details below, and we will talk soon. Thank you, card pile 1. All right, card pile 2. We are talking about what are they thinking and feeling. Okay, so for some of you, your person is traveling this holiday season. They are traveling to see family, loved ones. They're traveling to other states. They might be long distance from you. It looks like some of them are sort of traveling to get their mind off of you or this connection. But it also feels very grounded, such that, they don't feel too off the rocker or anything, or feel like they are feeling messy or anything like that. It feels like things are falling into place and feeling right. And we'll see how it goes with the rest of the reading. But at the moment, what I'm feeling is many people are traveling, that your person might be traveling for the holiday season, and that they are either feeling already at peace and at harmony and in resolution and closure about this connection. But for some of you, or many of you, they're seeking that closure and connection. So by going on their trips and hanging out with their family and doing all of the holiday celebrations, they're hoping that they can get their mind off of you. They're hoping that maybe, just maybe, they will be able to focus on their loved ones and their family members and the holiday and just celebrate to get their mind off of you, so that way they can, be at peace. Looking for that healing, looking for that closure, looking for that resolution. Yeah, again, so let me show you these cards. So many of them are traveling. This may not be the case for everyone, but it does feel like a pretty relevant energy. Obviously, it's coming at the top of the reading right away for card pile 2, so I am assuming it's relevant for many. And here's this card here. I don't always remember to share the cards, because I tend to really channel more so than focus on the cards, but some people like the cards and I understand why, okay? So they're going through a transformation right now, and they're really just trying to seek peace in their lives. They want to be content, they want to be satisfied, they want no drama, they just want things to be settled and easy and content. They really just want life to be simple right now. And it feels like for some of you, this may not apply to all of you, but for some of you, your relationship might have been a bit more tumultuous or had some ups and downs. Maybe you were hitting upon some triggers from previous relationships that you've had where you had some pain from those relationships, or from inner childhood or inner childhood wounding. And so it feels, this person actually, for many of you, this person actually feels good right now with the space that's happening. And I imagine we'll touch on some other pieces that might be more relevant to you in the connection, but they are actually feeling at peace and or seeking peace in order just to find some contentment, to get their mind off of you, to get their mind off the connection, so they can just like be, right? No, they kind of dirt off the shoulder, they can just relax and chill. And that's what they're seeking, right? And they're trying to shift out some of that energy or old drama or whatever it was, maybe baggage. And I don't mean to downplay your connection by using the word drama, but for some people, they consider any kind of disagreement drama, right? And that word comes through for a reason, card pile 2. It doesn't always come up. So this person might honestly have felt that this connection brought a lot of drama to their life that they just weren't ready for. And it doesn't mean drama is insignificant or trivial. A lot of people don't want to look at their shit. A lot of people don't want to look at their old baggage. A lot of people don't want to look at their childhood wounding. A lot of people don't want to have to like do the work of a conscious, intentional, loving relationship. A lot of people don't want to do it. Now, for some of you who are watching, you're like, there was definitely drama, a lot of disagreements. I don't know how conscious or intentional this relationship was, and that's okay, right? However it lands for you, and all the reason as to why they're like, I just am glad I'm at peace, and I'm going to be focusing on finding peace within myself, because they know that they contributed to this as well, even if on the outside or superficially they blame you or fault you for making this connection tumultuous or dramatic or whatever. They know that they have some work to do. They know that they are in need of some changes in order to bring about the even kind of love, connection, romance that they seek. They know that it wasn't just you, it was them too. And so they're seeking that peace, but they're also seeking to really discover within themselves what it is that needs to change or transform in order to create better outcomes in their lives and in their romantic experiences. Yeah, so they're rocking it solo, guys. They haven't been connecting with other people. They haven't been actively seeking someone else or another party. Card pile 1 was a little bit different, where for some of them, that person had already moved on, was trying to fill just have a placeholder there and fill that void. For you guys, card pile 2, I'm not getting any third party energies. You know, they are rocking the solo. They're like, I'm spending some time alone so that I can make these changes and so I can just have some peace in my life. They're not even trying to deal with anything. They know that they're going through a growth journey right now, that there is a process that's unfolding for them that is supporting their greater evolution. So they're seeing how this connection was responsible for bringing about some awareness and clarity and necessary shifts in their inner world that is required for them to be able to do better next time and or to create better relationships in the future. But for now, they have no interest in again, they're just over drama right now. They want absolute peace, so they're going solo. I do feel for a very small minority of you, as I said, that some of them may be seeking like one night stands or flings over the holiday season, like super quick, but nothing sustainable, nothing emotionally fulfilling. They are not interested at all right now. They are very much, especially for the majority of you, are riding it out solo. They want peace, and they're really looking at they don't know it yet, I don't think. I think it's very subconscious, but they don't know that this isolation will be good for them. It will serve them, and it's going to show them all the places in their energy field, in their bodies, whatever, in their experience where they're still holding on to a lot of pain. They're going to be faced with some of their old grief and stuff that they really haven't looked at, that they've suppressed. Again, this person's like all anti-drama and doesn't want to have to do the work. It doesn't even recognize it, that it's necessary to do that work. They just think it's drama, right? Now, I feel like for some of you do bring on some drama, and I think that's okay to own that, right? That's all right. And this person has some work to do in regards to accepting that there will be disagreements and hurdles and obstacles within a relationship, and that those things can actually bring about deeper intimacy. That's actually what creates space for more amounts of love to enter the connection, right? So if we have all these parts of us inside, we'll just fists to show that they're like kind of denser places where we've hidden kind of emotions, right? So let's just say there's all these parts inside of us like that. Love can't enter those spaces. So they have to be looked at, and that's what he doesn't know or she doesn't know that they're doing right now, or what's going to come about through their isolation, through their single period of time and being away from others. They're going to be able to look at those things and open them. Look at those things and open them, right? And when you open that up because of awareness, because you've now seen it, because you have insight about it, love can enter those spaces, right? And so in the context of a connection or a relationship, you're able to bring about deeper, more fulfilling love and connection because of that, because you've now opened those spaces inside that have once been contracted and held back or even suppressed, right? This person doesn't love drama, so they tend to suppress their emotions. They tend to internalize emotions. They don't want to confront. They don't want to deal with the BS. They just think girls are crazy bees, right? Now, again, you can be male or female bodied. You can identify as masculine or feminine. A lot of my viewers are women or people who identify as women. And so when I say him, I tend to go to that kind of thing, like the viewers are female or female identified. And I talk about it being a man that you're trying to ask about, but it can flip, right? So just apply it to your situation. But they're the type of person who's like, women are crazy bees, or my partner, I tend to attract crazy bees. And it's like, well, it's actually that you haven't looked at your crazy biatchness inside. Like you haven't looked at your own drama. You've been in hiding and shaming and suppressing all of your feelings so that you're not even recognizing that it's actually eating away at them because it hasn't been looked at, right? And they have a lot of spaces that they need to open inside of themselves to invite more love in. But they are becoming aware. It is becoming clear to them that they need to take some time away, take some time for themselves, and make this change happen. And this traveling this winter season or this holiday season is really going to support them, okay? So we have here that they might even be connecting with you through the subtle realms or the energetic realms. I actually feel like some of you are doing that. That's okay. And remember, if you are in separation and disconnect, if they have ghosted you or blocked you or any one of those things, you can communicate to them energetically, okay? Because I feel like this is actually more about you than it is about them, although I feel like what this card means and this reading in terms of what are they thinking and feeling is I think that they know that you are reaching out to them, and or they can register what you're sending out energetically, if not consciously. Like they're receiving your communication, they're receiving your energies that you're sending their way. They're probably able to feel it when you're yearning for them or longing for them or thinking about them, that they're well aware that you are thinking of them. And again, this energy is like, again, right, they're feeling that longing. See that gal? She's just longing, and she's in gray, but right, she looks out at this beautiful field and she's longing for brighter days, better days, for past days, very nostalgic and reminiscing of the past. So they're feeling that when you're longing for them. They are feeling that. They're aware of it. But again, they recognize that they're taking that time to heal, because even though they think it's they might have that idea that it's all drama and this and that, again, they do recognize that there's something that they can do to support some changes in the future, and they want to start to look at that. That hasn't gone too deep yet. They're right at the very beginning or middle of their journey, but they're on their way, okay? And they can feel you yearning for them. Last but not least, so as a result of this connection, this person is able to find deeper healing, all right? They find emotional healing, spiritual evolution as a result. They uncover some things about themselves that they otherwise would not have. This connection, whatever happened and however it went down, and for whatever reason, it was able to spawn a necessary change and transformation for them that otherwise may not have happened. So you really supported them to bring about this change within themselves that's going to be necessary for them on their life path. It's serving their greater healing and evolution as a person, as a spiritual being. Okay, again, they're doing that work, and they're going to be doing that work here in the near future, to be turning inward, doing that self-reflection, doing that self-discovery, and really looking into those deeper pains and dramas and things that they've been suppressing in their whole lives or during their whole lives, in order to free those parts of them, invite in more love, and then make themselves available for more love within themselves, but also more love and connection in the future. I do want to ask for you though, is there a chance of reconnection? We didn't get any of that, and usually we do. Okay, it looks like they're going to be focused on themselves for a while. So I'm not seeing that there is going to be, an immediate connection or reconnection. It looks like there's going to be one or both of you looking back on the situation with maybe some regret and remorse, with some disappointment and longing for a time And I'm sure that hurts to hear. For many of you, you might be seeking that reconnection, which is why you might be watching this video. And it looks like for a time there might be some upset and some remorse and looking back that's happening. But it doesn't look like they're immediately coming back, right? They're going to be focused on getting their act together. They're going to be focused on putting the pieces of their lives together, making those changes in the inner and the outer environment. They're getting self-focused, guys, and that's what they needed. They needed this to happen so they could get self-focused. And so I don't see, like, at least in pile one, I was able to see and give them a final answer as to, for many of them, that the person wasn't coming back, and for very few they would, but conditions might not be ripe. Now for you, card pile 2, I'm feeling like it's not even on the radar, not that it's not on their radar, but spirit, what's being offered here in the reading, is not even on the radar. It's very much saying this person has to go in. They've got to do the work. This relationship was meant to bring about those changes for this person. And what I could say as arity that's not in these cards, and what I know to be true, is oftentimes when people do the work and they do the healing and they're able to have that spiritual evolution within themselves, they come to a place on the other side where a connection and a more healthy, fulfilling connection or relationship is possible, right? So that can happen for the both of you as long as you're both self-focused and that you do the work that's relevant to this connection. And then when you come back around or circle back around, if a chance were to come that you guys could reconnect, it would be healthier, it would be better, more fulfilling for the both of you. However, I will say many times, you do so much healing that that relationship simply becomes no longer a match, or it becomes incompatible, or just becomes irrelevant. You've moved on, you've met new people, you find a new lover, one or both people end up with someone else, and it just simply becomes a mismatch, okay? Now, that doesn't mean that's going to be the case for everybody. Again, the reading itself did not focus on that at all, so this person's very much inward focused. They're trying to keep their mind off of you. They're doing that inner work, and that's what they're doing this holiday season. So I encourage you to do the same thing in terms of finding ways to enjoy the holiday season, to take care of you, and stay focused on you. All right, thank you, card pile 2. If this reading landed for you, I encourage you to like, subscribe, share your story in the comments. I'd love to hear more from you. There are ways to contribute to this channel. Those details are below. And I do offer both personal readings as well as coaching sessions to support you with these readings, or to support you more generally in your life and your work and on your spiritual path. So do check out those details below, and I will see you next time. Thank you, card pile 2. All right, card pile 3. We are talking about how are they thinking and feeling this holiday season. Again, this is a timeless reading, so it doesn't matter when you catch this reading. This is relevant for you. It's just being filmed during the holiday season of 2020. So how is this person feeling? This person is going through a deep healing process. So it's interesting. We saw some of that, the beginnings of it, in card pile 1. Card pile 2, again, even a little bit further along, and sometimes the readings tend to go in chronological order, like it shows you where people are, like deeper and deeper and further along on their journey. So card pile 3, this person is in deep healing right now. Your connection, relationship, and even the disconnect that resulted, or whatever it was, maybe there was a big confrontation or a big argument or a big disagreement. There was something here in addition to the relationship, or maybe just the relationship itself, but it spurred some very deep healing for this person. They are taking a really good deep look at their lives, at themselves, and they're really looking to use what happened with the both of you very intentionally, very consciously. They're going to use this catalyst, and they're going to use it well. They're not going to let this just be just another relationship, or just another connection, or just another disconnected or soulmates and separation kind of thing that they just shelve and move on. They want this to be the catalyst that changed their lives. So they're realizing that it's the catalyst that changes their lives, okay? They're doing some deep soul work and soul healing. They're looking at a lot of their habits and behaviors that simply were dysfunctional or unhealthy for them. Some of them even had some attachments or substance abuse issues, and maybe, I'm not feeling like hard substance abuse issues, although that might be the case for some of you. You know your person best. For some of them, it could have been alcohol. For some of them, it could have been sex. For some of them, it could have been food, right? It doesn't have to be something, or, going out and getting one-night stands or going on the apps all the time. Like, it doesn't have to be something that's like a hard addiction. But I'm saying they're taking a look at all the ways they self-medicate, all the ways that they cope that may not be functional or healthy for them, all the ways that they've tried to fill the void. They're working on on looking at that void once and for all and determining how they fill it for themselves. They're trying to create personal transformation and healing out of the situation that you guys experienced. They recognize that this connection, the soulmate connection, this relationship, whatever it was for you, that this was real, this was deep, this was something profound. I would say a soulmate connection or a twin flame connection, something like that, if it resonates. And because it was so deep and because it was something that was just so profound for them, it has changed them in ways they couldn't possibly have imagined. They were able to understand things about themselves that they never would have seen otherwise. So because the relationship was so significant, any hurt that happened for the both of you probably hurt and cut very deeply. And so this person has now been able to look very deeply inside themselves at how they helped create the situation, you know, maybe things that they even quote unquote did wrong or things that they felt were missteps or misguided, any mistakes that they made. They want to be able to show up differently and really to use this to become a different person. They are using this as a catalyst for their spiritual evolution. And in fact, it feels like that was the destiny and the point of this. Something so deep and again, a soulmate connection that might have history of past lives. It doesn't just come into our lives and just like drop something and move on. It's like, kaboom, atomic bomb level transformation. And so that's what they're doing, and they're focusing on healing that inner child. All right, so they may not have realized or looked at some of the wounding from their past or their inner child, the part that seeks for things or needs for things or is desperate for love or yearns for love or is clingy or needy and needs this person, needs to feel loved or needs to be or feel loved in a certain way. So all those kinds of ways our inner child shows up as a result of what we feel like we didn't receive as a child. Parents aren't perfect. There's no way to love a child perfectly. And so we all walk away from childhood with these kinds of wounds, our own version, flavor of them, right? Our own version, flavor, and texture of these kinds of wounds. And so this person is taking a look at those wounds and seeing how they might be able to transform them and really support them to become a better person. Now, I'm not seeing so much yet how they are thinking and feeling about you uniquely, but they are using this connection as a catalyst for incredible personal growth. They are doing the deep healing. Yeah, you guys, look. They're confused. They were confused and lonely for a time. They're seeing that a lot of their inner wounding, a lot of those pains and wounds are relevant to their past. Okay, so let's take a look. This is your soulmate connection, your twin flame connection. It goes very deep. It's profound. It supported and catalyzed an incredible integration of connecting with their inner child and those inner child wounds. It's going to put something into place once and for all for them that supports them in their lives. All right, so I want you to see these cards and what this means. So this person is now taking a look at all that wounding, and they're taking a look at, you know, how they were always searching for someone else, right? This is feeling lost, confused, lonely. So they've dealt with their share of pain. And they're always kind of seeking for someone to fill the void. You know, can someone love me enough to fill this void? Can someone affirm me enough to fill this void? Can they validate me enough? Right? But it's a bottomless pit. And there's no way that anyone else or one person or especially a limited human being, we're just all finite. There's just no way to give to a bottomless pit that is the void of a wound in someone because of childhood. We're just unable to do it. And sometimes these are, you know, many lifetime woundings. This is karma from previous lives, if you believe in that. And so it's a bottomless pit. There's no one way or any one person who can fix that. And this person is realizing that, and they're seeing how a lot of their pain contributed to some of the sort of things that happened in a relationship that weren't ideal. But more than anything, they're acknowledging that they walk around with a lot of pain. They're acknowledging that they walked into this connection and relationship with a lot of pain, and they walked out with a lot of pain, that there is some pain and wounding that they really want to, you know, go to town at and actually meet for the first time. Like, they really want to meet their pain, acknowledge their pain, and be able to transform this pain, right? You can see that transformation looming behind them. But right now, many of them are still in this space of confusion, feeling lost, lonely, broken. Many of them are feeling broken, like a broken human being. I'll never do it right. I'll never do it well. I'll never attract the right person. People never love me. They never show me enough love. So we are seeing a lot of that kind of rumination happening for many of them. I would say for a good majority, or, you know, at least 25% of you, your person is in there right now. But again, there's a looming transformation on the horizon that we already talked about as a result of this incredible connection. Because what they're seeing is all the ways that they've shown up inauthentically, right? The ways that they faked it, the ways that they've deceived others, and again, innocently, right? They weren't trying to be someone that they weren't. They weren't trying to be inauthentic, but they wore a lot of masks and played a lot of roles and played a lot of games. Like, one minute they're the happy-go-lucky person, and the next minute they're the deep spiritual person, the next person, right? they're just able to put on whatever mask to be able to get the love that they feel that they need or that is missing inside of them. So they'd be willing to play the role just to get love. Like, oh, what do I got to do over here to get love? And I'll just go over here to get love this way, right? Not realizing that there was a wound inside of them that could be addressed directly. Like, they can meet the wound and start to do the work for themselves. So that way they're not going out here clinging and relying on other people to fill that void, to fill that wound, right? So they're taking a look. See this photo here? This is a very intense one, but see that mask in front that's like showing a happy-go-lucky face, but on the other side it's the snake. And they're just seeing that even though they put on a smiley face, or they might have done the right things and made the right moves and tried the different careers and all that stuff, in truth, there was a lot of brokenness on the inside. And they're finally taking a look at that brokenness. And they're taking a look at how that brokenness contributed to a lot of the upset, disappointments, harm, and damage, and unfortunate outcomes in their relationships. They're seeing how that particular wounding, that particular void, those kind of inner childhood woundings, kind of things like that, they're seeing how all of that has, that not only it's there, like they're actually acknowledging it for maybe even the first time and seeing that, oh, what, this isn't someone else who did this to me, this is mine. But they're also looking at how it contributed to unfortunate or undesirable outcomes in their relationships, and how it kind of spawned, even again, those dysfunctional coping mechanisms, the defense mechanisms, the addictions and substance abuse. They're seeing how all of this came out to play, okay? So, right, they're going through a period of heart healing. They're going through a period of just really connecting to, right, this is inner child healing, innocence. What does it say? Yeah, innocence. Connecting to that part of them that might have been lost in childhood. This is tough work, right? This is deep soul work. This person isn't messing around, right? This is deep spiritual healing for a lot of these people in pile 3. And again, you know, it's like, what are they thinking and feeling? You're coming here to find out how they're thinking about you. But honestly, you know, we're just seeing how deep they are in it. They may not even be thinking about you. I think that they are, but they're so deep in their own healing and in their own wounding and void, they may not be thinking of you, even though you spawned this, right? You're very much there and present in their realm and in their sphere and in their mind space and heart space. But more than anything, they're so deep in their own shit, they can't see anything else, all right? And this is going to spawn incredible heart healing for them. Once and for all, they're going to be able to create love inside themselves, love for themselves, so that way they can be authentic and they can show up as who they are and be loved for who they are, instead of showing up with different faces and masks and hoping someone loves them, and then someone finds out who they really are because they've been sort of lying or maybe deceiving or showing up just inauthentically all this time. And then how can you be loved for who you are if you're showing up as who you are not, right? But they're going to find that love inside of themselves that's connected to this inner childhood, or inner child / childhood healing. I keep saying inner childhood healing, but what I mean is inner child / childhood healing. They're going to have that. It's going to bring about greater self-love for themselves. And again, they're going to be able to generate that love inside of themselves. They're not seeking it outside. Okay, seeking it inside of themselves, that becomes something that comes inside. Again, so they're not here where they're closed off. See how here the healing is happening behind. It's looming on the horizon. Here, it's right here. So it opens up love for them. It opens up the availability for them to love themselves and to give themselves the opportunity to experience love in a relationship that is also true, that is also authentic, that accepts both parties as they are, because they're both showing up as who they are, right? So this leads about to a new beginning for this person. They don't know it yet, but this is where it leads them, is to a new beginning. They're willing to be a fool in love and be playful in love, and maybe even not even take it as seriously, because they have connected with their own source of love on the inside. So they're not clinging and desperate for that, like, you know, this person for you might have been like immediately seeking an intense relationship, or immediately seeking an engagement or marriage, because they wanted something deep and immediate, because they wanted something anchored and they wanted something right away so it could fill that void. So they had the guarantee of this love forever, for a lifetime. I've got it. You know, it can't let me go. Now, this person's going to become a little bit more light and playful and adventurous with their love. They're going to be able to have new beginnings without like hanging on for dear life, because they already have the love inside of them. So they're not taking it too seriously, assuming that every single person they meet is their big battle for life soulmate, you know, ride or die. They're going to be able to be more playful and kind of tiptoe lightly around it. It doesn't mean that this person's a very deep and loving soul, so they're not going to be frivolous with people or careless with people's hearts at all. I'm saying that for them, they're not going to immediately hold on and try to anchor in something that's not real or authentic for them. They're going to be able to be themselves. They're going to be able to show up and share and have a new beginning, first of all, for themselves, but also be able to do so more lightly and playfully with other people without trying to hang on for dear life, okay? Again, they find that love inside of themselves. They're able to feel that love inside of themselves, recognize that love inside of themselves. They don't become reliant and waiting and desperate to find it outside of themselves. Yeah, guys, look, this is cool for them. All right, so they do eventually come to a place of peace and harmony. Again, they're able to generate that love for themselves. But look, there's so much happening here with inner childhood healing for this person, right? Inner child healing, childhood healing. Because we get the dolphins, we get innocence, we get integration, we have the baby. This reminds me of a baby in this particular case, right? It's all very much inner child healing for them. Even the Fool, innocence, right? There's a lot of energy around innocence for this person, meaning they're integrating that innocence, that childhood innocence, that air of innocence and playfulness and spiritedness. So they not only integrate more love and they're able to self-source for their love and find that more spiritually, but they're also able to be more innocent, more playful. They're able to find that joy within, and they're also able to find any grace and compassion for themselves, okay? So instead of like beating themselves up. And eventually, what do they find? They do find deeper fulfillment, okay? They find fulfillment within themselves, and they don't have to rely on another connection, another person to fill that void. They find it within themselves. That's what your connection has brought about for them. Now let's ask, though, how this has to do with you. Is there any reconnection here? Ooh. Is there any reconnection here? Looks like there could be a new beginning eventually. They may return for some of you, not for all of you, some. Okay, maybe 25% or a little bit less, that they do return. They return with an offer. They return having put all these pieces together, having taken responsibility for the ways in which they showed up that were inauthentic or weren't real or true, that they weren't able to fully show up for you, and they knew that, but they come back with their shit together with a new offer. Now, for some of you, it might be too little too late. For some of you, you'll have moved on, but for some of you, you will be available and you will be willing to try again and give this another shot. Let's see if there's anything else that wants to come up here. Yes, look, you guys, you gotta take a look. Look at the offer that's happening here. This person, it looks like for many of you, not for all of you, okay? Don't get your hopes up. But for many of you, and when this happens, please come back to this video and write to us and let us know. You get an offer. This person returns with an offer and says, you know what? I did the work. I did all the things. I knew what this relationship meant for me and what I was supposed to do with it, and I did the work, and I'm here now, and I'm ready to show up as your king, all right? Or your queen, okay? So it depends on who's watching and how you identify yourself, but have it apply to your circumstances, whichever way. They come back with an offer, many of you. Now, it's interesting because I pulled two cards here and they both are showing an offer. So for many of you, that will be the case. For some of you, and for those of you who that might not be the case, it could be as a result of, you know, again, when they by the time that they develop this healing within themselves and self-source their own love and become fulfilled and ready to reapproach you, that you've already moved on, right? And or you have found a partner. So if they don't return, that could be why. They could be checking out your social media and seeing you moved on. Now, I'm not feeling like actually a very long time where this offer is made or they return. It feels like maybe even 3 months. So this, if you're watching during the winter holiday season of 2020, this feels like maybe March of 2021. So you'll have to let me know if that lands for you in terms of timing. I do feel like many of you will be getting an offer. And for those of you who don't, they've already recognized that you moved on and they're just not willing to show up and essentially be rejected. And or they do show up and you state that you've already moved on. So that's the case for you, card pile 3. Thank you so much for watching. If this lands or resonates, I encourage you to like, subscribe, share. Please do share your stories in the comments. There are ways to contribute to this channel, so you can check out those details below. I also offer both personal readings as well as coaching sessions to support you with these readings or to support you more generally in your life, in your work, and on your spiritual path. So thank you, card pile 3. Take care.